Manuel had always been fascinated by the mysterious allure of the dark forest that bordered his small village. Thick foliage, ancient trees, and an eerie silence surrounded its entrance, captivating his imagination. Many tales had been spun about the forest, stories of lost souls, unseen creatures, and unexplained phenomena. Despite the warnings from the villagers, Manuel's curiosity consumed him, and he couldn't resist the pull any longer. One moonlit night, Manuel gathered his courage, shouldered his backpack, and set off towards the dark forest. The village's narrow cobblestone streets soon gave way to a winding path, and the air grew thick with a foreboding sense of anticipation. Shadows danced among the trees, as if whispering secrets Manuel was eager to uncover. As he ventured deeper, the forest's atmosphere became suffocating. The silence was deafening, broken only by the sound of his own footsteps and the rustling of leaves beneath his feet. His heart pounded in his chest, but he pressed on, fueled by a mixture of fear and curiosity. Suddenly, Manuel stumbled upon an ancient stone monument hidden within the undergrowth. The markings on its surface were faded and weathered, but they hinted at a forgotten history. Intrigued, he reached out to touch the monument, and an electric surge coursed through his body. A vision flashed before his eyes. A group of hooded figures, a hidden treasure, and a terrible curse. Shaken by the vision, Manuel pressed forward, now driven by a sense of urgency. He navigated through the dense foliage, guided by an invisible force that seemed to draw him deeper into the heart of the forest. Strange whispers filled his ears, and shadows danced around him, their movements too deliberate to be mere figments of his imagination. Hours turned into days, and the forest seemed endless. Manuel's body ached, his mind clouded with exhaustion, but his determination pushed him forward. He had to uncover the truth that lay hidden within the dark forest, no matter the cost. Finally, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the forest floor, Manuel stumbled upon a clearing. His breath caught in his throat as he beheld a sight that froze him in his tracks. The clearing was adorned with decaying statues, their grotesque features contorted in eternal agony. As he cautiously approached, he noticed a flickering light emanating from the center of the clearing. Drawing closer, Manuel saw a stone altar, upon which rested an ancient tome. Its pages were yellowed with age, and a single word adorned the cover in intricate, archaic lettering. Consequences. With trembling hands, Manuel opened the tome, and his eyes widened in disbelief. The pages revealed a chilling tale of greed, betrayal, and eternal suffering. The hidden treasure he had glimpsed in his vision was said to grant unimaginable wealth and power to those who found it, but it came at a terrible price. The curse that had befallen the forest was a direct consequence of the treasure's discovery, a curse that claimed the lives of all who dared seek it. Overwhelmed by a mixture of fear and regret, Manuel slammed the tome shut, determined to escape the clutches of the dark forest and its haunting secrets. But as he turned to leave, a deafening howl echoed through the night, chilling him to the bone. The forest had awakened, and it would not allow him to leave so easily. Panic surged through Manuel's veins as he realized the forest had become his captor. The once gentle whispers transformed into menacing hisses, and the shadows elongated, reaching out like ghostly hands eager to snatch him away. He stumbled backward, desperately searching for an escape route, but the dense foliage closed in around him, confining him to the cursed clearing. With each passing moment, the forest seemed to tighten its grip, its ancient power seeping into Manuel's very being. Fear turned to despair as he realized the consequences of his reckless pursuit. The curse had marked him, and now he was trapped, destined to share the same fate as those before him. Frantically, Manuel scanned the clearing for a glimmer of hope. His eyes fell upon the statues, their faces twisted in agony, and a chilling realization struck him. The statues were the remnants of previous adventurers, forever frozen in their final moments of torment. Driven by a desperate instinct to survive, Manuel pleaded with the forest. his voice trembling with a mix of terror and remorse. "I was foolish. I didn't understand the consequences. Please, release me from this curse." Silence hung heavy in the air, and for a moment, it seemed as if the forest might have heard his plea. Then, a bone-chilling laughter echoed through the clearing, reverberating off the decaying statues. The forest reveled in Manuel's anguish, delighting in the eternal suffering it had inflicted upon countless souls. Realizing that escape was futile, Manuel's fear transformed into a defiant resolve. He would not allow himself to be another nameless victim swallowed by the dark forest's malevolence. He would confront the curse head-on and break its hold. Taking a deep breath, Manuel approached the stone altar, the cursed tomb beckoning to him. With trembling hands, he reopened it, determined to decipher the ancient rituals necessary to undo the curse. Hours turned into days as he pored over the intricate text, seeking a glimmer of hope amidst the pages of doom. Finally, a passage caught his eye, a ritual of sacrifice. To break the curse, Manuel would need to offer something of great value, a token of his remorse and a symbol of his willingness to atone for his trespasses. Manuel's heart sank as he realized the magnitude of what was required, but he knew there was no other way. In the depths of the dark forest, he had discovered the darkest parts of himself and the consequences of his actions. He was ready to face his fate head-on and redeem himself. Summoning every ounce of courage, Manuel selected a precious family heirloom, a locket that had been passed down for generations. It held the memories of his loved ones, the faces of those who had warned him against entering the dark forest. With the locket clutched tightly in his hand, Manuel made his way to the center of the clearing. The forest seemed to hold its breath, anticipation hanging in the air. Manuel raised the locket above his head and offered a heartfelt apology, promising to honor the lives lost and the warnings ignored. A blinding light engulfed the clearing, and Manuel felt a surge of energy course through him. The forest convulsed, its grip loosening, and the statues crumbled to dust. The curse had been broken. Breathing heavily, Manuel stepped out of the clearing, back onto the winding path that led to his village. The dark forest loomed behind him, a grim reminder of the consequences of curiosity and the price paid for heedless ambition. As Manuel made his way home, he carried with him the weight of the dark forest's lessons, a newfound respect for the boundaries of nature, the dangers of unchecked desire, and the enduring power of redemption. Jason stood at the edge of the dark forest, peering into the dense mass of trees. The air was heavy with an eerie silence, broken only by the faint rustling of leaves and the occasional hoot of an owl. It was said that those who ventured into the forest at night never returned, their fates forever entwined with its mysterious depths. But Jason was not one to be easily deterred. He had always been drawn to the unknown, seeking thrills and answers where others feared to tread. As he took his first hesitant step into the forest, he couldn't help but feel a shiver run down his spine. The moon cast an ethereal glow through the canopy, illuminating the path ahead. It seemed like an invitation, a beckoning from the forest itself. Jason pushed forward, his heart pounding in his chest. The deeper he ventured, the more the forest seemed to come alive. Shadows danced between the trees, whispering secrets that only the wind could carry. The branches reached out like gnarled fingers, as if trying to grasp hold of him, to pull him into their timeless embrace. Jason's senses heightened, his every instinct telling him that he was being watched. He could almost feel pairs of eyes peering at him from the darkness, their gazes filled with ancient knowledge and a hint of malevolence. As he continued on, the path grew narrower, the undergrowth thicker. Each step became a struggle, as if the forest itself was resisting his intrusion. Jason's determination, however, remained unyielding. Suddenly, a low growl echoed through the trees, freezing him in his tracks. He looked around, searching for the source of the sound, but saw nothing. Fear crept into his mind, but he refused to give in to it. He had come too far to turn back now. Just as he was about to press on, a figure emerged from the shadows. It was a man, haggard and wild-eyed, his clothes tattered and torn. He stumbled towards Jason, his voice trembling with desperation. "Get out," the man pleaded, his voice barely above a whisper. "Before it's too late. The forest, it devours everything." Jason's curiosity was piqued, and he reached out a hand to the man. "What happened? What's in the forest?" But before the man could answer, a deafening roar shook the ground. The trees swayed violently, their branches thrashing like angry serpents. The man's eyes widened in terror as he turned and fled, disappearing into the night. Left alone in the darkness, Jason felt a knot of dread tighten in his stomach. He knew he should heed the man's warning, retreat to safety. Yet something inside him urged him to press on, to uncover the secrets that lay hidden within the heart of the dark forest. With a deep breath, he steeled himself and continued his journey, unaware of the horrors that awaited him. Jason ventured deeper into the dark forest, the path growing more treacherous with each step. The atmosphere became heavier, suffocating him with an oppressive sense of foreboding. Yet he pressed on, his determination overriding his growing unease. As he pushed through a thick cluster of thorny bushes, Jason stumbled upon an old, dilapidated cabin. The structure stood as a solitary sentinel, weathered by time and neglect. Its windows were broken, and the door hung precariously on rusted hinges. A flicker of curiosity ignited within Jason's chest. He cautiously approached the cabin, his senses on high alert. With a trembling hand, he pushed the door open, revealing a scene frozen in time. The interior was a haunting tableau of abandonment. Dust-covered furniture stood haphazardly, as if someone had fled in great haste. Cobwebs draped from the ceiling like ghostly tapestries. A single candle stood on a table, its flame dancing in the stillness. As Jason explored further, he stumbled upon an old journal. Its pages were yellowed with age, the ink faded but legible. With trembling hands, he began to read the words penned by a long-lost author. The journal spoke of the forest's dark secrets, of ancient rituals performed under the moonlight, and of a curse that had befallen those who dared to disturb its slumber. It warned of an entity that lurked within the forest, a malevolent force that fed on the souls of the unwary. Despite the chilling revelations, Jason's curiosity burned brighter. He yearned to uncover the truth, to face the unknown head-on. He knew the risks, but he couldn't ignore the gnawing need to unravel the mysteries that lay hidden within the forest's depths. With newfound determination, Jason closed the journal and pocketed it, vowing to confront whatever awaited him. Little did he know that his decision would seal his fate. Nightfall painted the forest in an inky blackness as Jason made his way to the heart of the dark forest. The air grew colder, sending a shiver through his spine. Whispers echoed around him, carried on the wind, as if warning him to turn back. But Jason had come too far to heed those warnings. He pressed on, his heart pounding in his chest, and soon he found himself standing in a small clearing surrounded by ancient trees. Suddenly, a figure materialized before him. It was a woman, ethereal and otherworldly, her eyes glowing with a sinister light. She spoke in a voice that seemed to emanate from the very depths of the forest. "Jason, you have trespassed into the realm of darkness," she hissed. "Now you shall face the consequences." Jason's breath caught in his throat as the woman raised her hands, summoning a whirlwind of shadows. The dark tendrils enveloped him, pulling him into their inky embrace. Fear coursed through his veins, but he refused to surrender to despair. With every ounce of strength he could muster, Jason fought against the darkness. He summoned his willpower, his determination to survive, and slowly the shadows began to recede. Gasping for breath, Jason emerged from the grip of the forest's malevolence. He stumbled back, his eyes wide with disbelief. The dark forest had tested him, but he had emerged triumphant. As he retreated from the depths of the forest, Jason carried with him a newfound respect for the unknown. He knew the dark forest would forever remain a mystery, its secrets locked away from the world. And though he had escaped its clutches, he would never forget the chilling whispers that haunted his dreams. From that day forward, Jason became a guardian of the forest, warning others of its treacherous allure. He dedicated his life to studying the mysteries of the natural world, seeking answers to the questions that plagued his mind. And as for the dark forest, it remained a silent sentinel, its secrets buried deep within its ancient roots, waiting for the next intrepid soul to succumb to its chilling embrace.